Welcome to Black in One Piece. I'm your host, Dr. Tasha, and you're listening to the Millennial Black Professor Media. Today on Black in One Piece, I'm happy to welcome Zoë Stone. Welcome and thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
If you don't mind, please tell us about what you do professionally and anything that you feel we should know about you personally before we jump into this convo.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm a believer. We just gonna get that out there. Everything that I do, I am led by. Even my career, how I'm here, was all led by my belief. Mm-hmm. I am a licensed caterer, and I specialize in charcutistry and alternative dietary needs.
One other kind of just defrost question, if you will. If someone were to play you in a biopic, who would you want that to be?
Keke Palmer.
Oh, this is the quickest answer that we've gotten, y'all. Everybody else was stumbling, trying to figure. Keke Palmer.
Yeah, we're very similar. First of all, we're like very similar in age. And so like I grew up just like Keke was my girl. Growing up, seeing her evolve definitely helped me just coming to my own self as a Black woman. And although I don't agree with all things that she do, but I love how strong she is, how confident she is in herself. Yeah, she could definitely play me.
I love that. Okay, Keke Palmer. Where do you consider your hometown?
Born and raised Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
Proud. Yeah. 316.
Okay. Yes. So everyone knows I'm a Wichita transplant, so I'm still learning the different areas. So tell me where you went to high school, like what side you're from.
Okay, that gets a little complicated because I went to high school in Virginia. The East Coast really kind of raised me in that aspect of, you coming into yourself in those high school years. So I went to Hampton, but I did come back to graduate at East. So I'm good for like a semester to graduate.
So at the end of the day for you, it's ICT all day.
Yeah. Okay. I love 757, but, born and raised.
Okay. Just had to clear the air on that.
Oh, yeah. Which side? Pick a side. What you saying? Can't claim the 75 half the time. Okay, I feel you.
Okay. So now we're going to jump in. Mm-hmm. All right. So how do you self-identify in terms of race and ethnicity?
A Black woman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how would you define Blackness?
Blackness is so much. Blackness is a culture. Blackness is a sound. Blackness is a smell. Blackness is nostalgic. Blackness is tradition. Blackness is food. Blackness is laughter. Yes. Did I say blackness is smell? Okay, because you're like, girl, is that look me all over from the cat? Okay, what the hair store smell oil. So blackness is so much. I don't think that it can just be defined with one flat out definition for me.
Following up on what you just shared there, I define peak Blackness as those moments when we're experiencing something, we're hanging with our friends, or we just witnessed something. Maybe we're scrolling on Instagram, and it's like, I love us. I love being Black.
Okay, yeah.
So what are some of those moments for you?
When I experience excellence, so not even just in social media, in my day-to-day life. When I see somebody like, okay, you own it.
Yeah.
You out here making us look good. When I see us winning, when I see us being promoted, when I see us doing anything positive, that just makes me like, okay,
yeah,
this is what it is.
Right. Peak Blackness. Okay, I love it. Have there ever been moments where you wanted to be anything other than Black, and why or why not?
I wouldn't say that I necessarily wanted to be anything other than Black, but I grew up in a time where being dark-skinned wasn't a cool thing, So now melanin is popping and all the things, but as a child, baby. So there was a time I wish that I was like lighter complected. Now that I've come into myself, and I won't say that the trend of being a dark-skinned woman didn't help, but that's not the reason why. Just coming into my own self, just accepting that there are many shades of Blackness. And so that doesn't make you more or less just because you're one shade. I maybe wanted to be lighter complected, but I kind of got over that.
Okay. This is a perfect segue because my dissertation research focused on colorism and hair discrimination, specifically for Black women attending predominantly white institutions, and how that exists in a culture of higher education. How would you describe your skin complexion and your hair? And if you can elaborate a little bit more on how those aspects of your identity have impacted your experience as a Black woman.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm full every, what I'm saying? So nappy hair, I consider myself 4C. Some people tell me it's 4B. I don't know. I just know it be nappy. So, but I love it. I'm not saying nappy in a derogatory way. I love my hair texture, and I consider myself dark skinned. Yeah.
When you say nappy, it sounded like you were saying it with a positive light. And sometimes, especially in social media and in other contexts, we see nappy taking on more of a derogatory connotation. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean when you say that you mean it in a positive way? Okay.
Ooh, should we go here? Okay.
Absolutely.
So you know how like some people may or may not agree with the N word, right? And some people may say like, hey, we're saying it as a term of endearment. So at this time, it's okay. There are times when if my mama come in and tell me my hair is nappy, I'm gonna feel offended. Like I need to get my hair together, you know? But when I say nappy, I'm saying like, when I take down my hair, it's full.
Yeah.
I mean, my crown is, you know, it stays up by itself. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that she needs to be tamed.
Right.
So that's what I mean by nappy. Like my hair, yeah, it just does that. So that's when I say nappy, I'm more so describing the texture. Like I don't have looser curls. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to put product in my hair for my hair to curl a certain way. Yeah. But just naturally straight out wash, she out there.
Yeah.
African pride. So.
I feel you 100%. It makes me think of, there was a hairstylist that I used to go to, and not too long after this incident, I stopped going. I mean, it was a whole bunch of stuff, unprofessionalism or whatever, but
this was it though.
But this was it just did not sit right with me. So I went, and she had gotten an assistant, and the assistant, first of all, I could tell she wasn't like brushing through my natural hair how it needed to be. Just
raking through it.
Yes. I felt like my hair just tearing out. So,
show us some love, girl. Slow down.
And so it wasn't hurting me because I've never been tender-headed or anything like that. But the stylist asked her something about why she was brushing like that. And she was like, because this hair nappy. Like, it was just the way in which she said it. Like, yeah, I know my hair is tight, okay? Yeah. I know that. But it was just, it was said with such negativity, like it was disgusting.
Because we haven't been taught as a culture that type of hair is, or that anything other than perm. You know, we still coming out the perm era. Some people have to just relearn that this is not ugly. This is not, for one, we can't help it. So
exactly.
Know? So like this is how it comes out of my head. Yeah. So I get that. I have experienced, like I said, a negative way, but for me, it's just like owning it. Like, okay, you call it nappy. I love it. You know.
Yeah. I loved when Beyonce included that lyric in Brown Skin Girl. And she said something about our nappy curls. And that made me happy because somebody on that large of a stage to be reclaiming the term, it sounds like what you're sharing. So, yeah. Okay. You mentioned your faith, you're a believer. Are there any other things that you feel have shaped your definition of Blackness? And can you elaborate a little bit more on how faith has played a role in your experience of Blackness?
Yeah. Part of my Blackness experience was that I was raised by a village. So I just wasn't just raised by my mom. I was adopted when I was younger. So I had many different experiences of Blackness. Classes, well, I wouldn't say classes, let's say tax brackets, okay, of Blackness. And so just being able to see us in all different states and all different, that really helped me understand, like, okay, where I come from and what I'm capable of, you know. And I think because of my faith, I was able to not stay in a certain place. Because of my faith, I was able to understand that we all, as Black people, may not have, we are all disadvantaged in some type of way, whether your economic circumstances have something to do with that, or, you know, the structure of your household, or just genetics, all kind of things. So I think just being able to see, like, okay, no matter where you are, money don't really matter. The fact that you Black is the main disadvantage, you know. And so just knowing through my faith that I was you know, there's things to go around and above and beyond that. And so that's one thing I love about us.
So do you feel that your definition, view, experience of Blackness has changed over time? And if so, how?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Again, with me being raised by a village, a lot of those people were older. So you're talking about these people are in their 60s, 70s at this point. And so whereas my mom in her 50s or so. So it was just a different generation back then. We couldn't say the N-word at all. Baby didn't play that. Okay, red lipstick ain't going for it.
Absolutely not.
Some things that I thought were, this is just how we do things, has changed. Like, no, that just may have been how y'all did it. But that ain't right. That ain't, you know, I was just talking to a coworker today. I said, did you know that driving with the light on is not illegal in the car?
Girl.
I guess driving while Black it is.
Right.
But, you know, growing up, you cut that light off. Yes. You know, and I never knew. And so I asked one time someone at work that was white, and they were like, no. Like, straight up. So I'm like, hold on, I don't believe it. So I asked another person, and they're all telling me no. And I'm like, wow, for us to believe that, for us to be taught that, for us to think, like, to this day, you still probably gonna tell your kids cut that light, because it's just embedded in us. And that's just, you know, what we've been told to say, that's how we are, and not knowing that goes back to much more trauma of why you don't want to do those things, but we weren't explained that. We were just told not to do it. And so now that I know, I'm just like, okay, there's more to us than just one way, you know?
I still don't leave the light on too much.
Right, come on. Look, see what you're getting and cut it off.
So if someone were to ask you, describe to me, what it means to be Black in this world, your overall experience being Black, what would you say? I know that's a huge question, but what is that experience?
First of all, let's say it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great experience. It is a sought after experience. It is a sometimes replicated experience. It is sometimes one that's misunderstood or stereotypes.
Yeah, for sure.
It can be difficult. Sometimes overlooked. Sometimes marginalized.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about the positive things. Okay. For me, it's a celebrated experience. To be this, it's an honor. And it can be really fun, too. There are some things, like, for instance, I love changing my hair. That is something as a Black woman that, baby, you can't do it like how I'm going to do it, okay? You can't. And no offense, but it's just not. And you can do all the styles and all the things, but I know that that's me.
Yeah.
It's all the things.
Yeah.
As a Black woman, I believe that we're the reason why everything is here. So a lot of times I be, Lord, deal with me and my pride, but I be, hey, you better check it. Do you know? So, yeah, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me either. What are some of the ways that you display your Blackness on a day-to-day? So it sounds like your hair is one of them, but what are some of the other things? I
walk in love. I think that there's just a way that, for one, a Black woman loves. I definitely think that comes from experience, and it is somewhat taught. So I love on people, I give them that. Definitely in my hair, definitely in my food, definitely in the way I dress, the products I use, the people I support. My conversation, how I carry myself, all the things who I associate with. Yeah.
Earlier, you talked about Blackness being about culture. Do you feel that Blackness and Black culture are the same?
No, I think Black culture is a part of Blackness.
Okay. Can you share more?
Black culture is, we don't put raisins in the potato salad.
Absolutely not.
But that's not Blackness. Blackness is, we're taught that you do everything right the first time. You do everything in excellence the first way, or the first time, I should say, and you do it the right way. That's Blackness. That's an attribute versus I would consider Black culture part of a characteristic. It's just a part of it.
It's been interesting getting everyone's take on that. So I like that example.
I can't wait to hear what everybody else says.
I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on code switching and gatekeeping in the Black community. That face, Zoe.
You need that air horn. Okay, it's gonna get real.
This came up in some previous conversations I've had, and I've just seen a lot of it on social media lately. We talk about code switching. I think it's something that we all do in some shape or form.
You got to. It's Black in America.
But then I see people almost, somebody's going to find a way to shame somebody. Once they have come into some level of enlightenment or what they believe is enlightenment, they decide that this is the way to be. So I've seen people talking about we need to stop code switching, just be who we are, be who we are. But others will say, well, when you do that, it makes it easier for people to acculturate and take what's ours. Hey y'all, quick interlude with Dr. Tasha, the Millennial Black Professor. As we're gearing up for the amazing episode that is Raisins in the Potato Salad, which you are listening to right now, I realized that I used the incorrect term here. I definitely meant to say appropriation, and you can check out the show notes if you haven't already. Subscribe to our newsletter, The Blackboard, to learn the definition of that and all the other key terms that we discuss throughout our episodes. With that, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And so I see two sides of this argument about we need to gatekeep, we need to code switch. So what are your thoughts on that?
First of all, I think that as Black people, we have to understand that code switching is not, it's not set just to us. How do you think that Asian Americans feel? They don't do necessarily everything that's acceptable in their culture with the rest of America. Same thing with any other culture. Also that there's a difference between code switching and then just a standard. Because sometimes what we be trying to be acceptable of, baby, that ain't blackness. That's just flat out laziness. We don't do that. I don't know what that's a part of. Although it may be acceptable in certain circumstances, in certain environments. Let me say that. It is not always okay. You don't go to an interview looking crazy. You don't go to certain positions and certain jobs looking crazy. That is not code switching. That is professionalism. And just because you come in here and you think that you can wear this and, oh, we feeling some type of way because you black, no, baby, you need to come up to the standard. Because this is what it is. This is a different environment. This is not the gym. This ain't the club. This is what this is. So this is how we conduct ourselves in this area. Now, catch Zoe on a different night, you might get a different side of me. That doesn't mean I'm code switching, but there's many parts to everyone. And there's a time and a place for everything. The Bible says that. Right now ain't the time for you to be doing all that. Back to code switching, though, I do feel like it is necessary to a certain aspect. There are certain mindsets that can only be changed. How can I say this? You know what I'm reminded of? Do you remember there was a movie, and it's based off a true story, where like this black man infiltrates the KKK? Okay, so baby boy was code switching, right? But what we say what he did was effective to dismantle a whole, you know what I'm saying? What we say what he did, you know? So in a sense, it's like, okay, there have been times where I don't choose to be the token black girl. But if I so happen to be in that position, right, baby, you're going to get all of this blackness, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to throw it in your face, but you're going to be like, oh, I couldn't imagine her so poised. I couldn't imagine this because I want your perception of what you think blackness is to change. And so I can't come out full on with my African earrings, even though I wear them. You know what I'm saying? Because it might offend you. When I change my hair, if I, you in between hair appointments, if I wear my afro, oh my gosh. So like it is almost offensive. I don't even want to deal with it. Like I'd rather rush and be late to my hair appointment than to be able to wear my hair in my natural state, because in the office, it's not really acceptable. Is it a wig? Is it this? Is it, baby, did I say anything when you came in with your hair dripping all down your back? And I'm just saying. Okay, so... So do I think it's necessary? In a sense, yes. And even with that, I had to ease that on to them. There were subtle things. Like today I wore a shirt. It had a lady, it was an afro pick, and the top of the pick was a lady with afro. At the front desk with it. Finna get all this blackness, but I'm going to be so professional. More professional than my counterparts. They asked me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it necessary to code switch? It can be, but that doesn't mean that I'm defying who I am. That doesn't mean that I'm not being all of who I am. It's just a time and a place for everything. And you got to pick and choose your battles. I'm here for a check. I'm not here to change America. Can we keep it honest? All right.
No, but I'm glad you elaborated on that, because as you were talking, I was thinking about how when we talk about professionalism, and I say we, but I think in corporate America, in certain spaces, the term professionalism is often code for respectability politics, trying to maintain a certain presence and appearance to appease
I can see
people.
that.
You know what I mean?
See that.
So for me, I'm really mindful of that, especially when I'm advising young people, when I'm mentoring, because I get a lot of questions about, is this professional? Is my hair professional? Me wearing these braids professional? And to your point, you talked about generational differences. I advise with women who are from different generations and backgrounds. I had an experience some years back where I was not there for a particular meeting, and the young ladies had asked, is my hair professional? They had, I think one of them had red braids, and they were told no. And I was sick because I hated that I wasn't there to intervene in that conversation.
So you think it is professional?
I feel like why isn't it?
Okay, let me say this. For me, professional would be any colors that are not distracting. So if a white woman come in with bright pink hair, it's distracting. Do they come in like that? Yes. And it's okay. It's cute. You got a short little pixie. Would myself as a black woman come in with as a dark-skinned black woman come in with a short pink pixie? Probably not. It's not going to be, it is a distraction for me. Or it would be a distraction for others. I'm not saying don't have red hair, don't have colors. I wear color. But it definitely is the taste in what it's done. You can wear color and it can still be tasteful. Even if, as a man, you come in and you got this green stripe down your head. I'm like, huh? You a teacher? Like, I couldn't imagine taking you seriously. And you got this skid in the middle of your head, like what? So to me, that's unprofessional. Just as unprofessional as it would be me wearing my bonnet.
Now you about to take some folks some places.
I'm saying, at work, y'all, at work, because catch me, in the bed, I have it on.
So I will say that you brought up a good point when you mentioned your skin complexion and how you were saying you wouldn't show up with the pink hair. And I think, especially if it was like a neon pink or whatever, it could be distracting anyway. But that to me speaks to privilege as well, because I think that I might show up in the space with whatever hairstyle
it'll be more acceptable for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to acknowledge that on my end. And even my husband had brought up that he was like, you got to be careful being all radical with these young ladies, because he was like, you're established. He was like, so you can do some more of these things that you're encouraging them to do, and they still have a lot more at stake. And it's true. So
and you lighter skin.
And my skin complexion, so I try to strike a balance between empowering them to be able to show up authentically in who they are, but also being prepared and aware of what the repercussions might be if they choose to do that. So.
Yeah, that's why we just got to create more opportunities for ourselves. So I'm respective of people that, I'm not going to say play the game, but yeah, we got to do what we got to do to get to certain places. Yeah. So again, if you got to be that token Negro to get there, maybe when you get on that board, okay?
Okay.
When you bring in some people for diversity and inclusion,
yes.
You start striking up those conversations. At this point, you proved your worth. Yeah. They respect you, may not all the way of what you deserve, but you still have a little bit more input. And so that's when you use your privilege in that instance to make those changes to where it is more acceptable for certain things. I do think that there are things that we need to be more progressive in. We're so progressive with other things that are non-Black, then baby, why is my Blackness so offensive to you? So yeah.
Okay. I want to switch gears just a tad before we get to the main question of the day. Okay. You and I were able to participate in the Create campaign.
Ooh,
Spark.
Shout out to Create.
Yes. Spark Community Business Academy. Shout out to Cohort 2.
Yes,
okay?
We the best.
So I just wanted to take a moment to talk about our experience going through the program and how being a Black businesswoman, what your experience has been like here in Wichita. If you feel that being Black, being a woman, the intersectionality of your experiences, how has that impacted you in the growth of your business or in any other way?
I started business when I was 23 going on 24, so I was very young. And not only was I young, but I'm a Black woman. I think because of that, I got taken advantage of a lot in business. I got overlooked and my voice was not heard. I think because of that, it took me a while to grow certain connections with certain people and to even be accepted into certain circles, or how about this, invited into certain circles. It definitely helped me develop resilience, endurance, and just to know this ain't overnight. Okay? Put your big girl panties on. And I think that it gave me a little bit tougher of a skin. For one, I'm a Black woman from Kansas. So my perspective of even what racism or classism or sexism can be like was somewhat sheltered. And I'm very aware of that because it's here. It just ain't in your face. So when I would begin to go out and do business, I'm okay.
Yeah.
God is with me.
Right.
Take on the world, baby. Who do you think you are? Young Black girl, and just letting my light shine. It was like I wish that I didn't, but at times I would feel like I had to dim myself to not be so great, to not offend people that were older than me, to not, because they be like, well, who do you think you is? Right. And you ain't did this, baby. I'm doing it. I'm coming. I'm gonna figure it out. You know, I will say, because I was young, let me say some positive things. Because I was young, I was able to get the grace and the wisdom of people that had gone before me, people that had already opened some doors for me. I'm grateful for even the timing of that. I'm grateful that you had to go through and experience that. So some things that I didn't have to, but it definitely helped me strengthen my character, grew me in integrity, because there were times when I felt like I maybe wanted to compromise because I was a young Black woman. Yeah. And I just, so it was after so many situations, baby, you're going to grow that integrity. It's like, this ain't who I am. And I don't want to change who I am for certain opportunities. I don't want to defy or deny parts of me or disrespect myself for certain relationships or opportunities or whatever that may be. So it grew me in areas. It taught me a lot, but ultimately it helped me to be who I am today and growing into be. And I'm grateful for my city. Like I said, being a Black woman in Kansas, I definitely think that my experience is going to be different from another Black woman in a more just a city with a bigger population. Because I'm able to make those smaller connections, because we have a big city, small town type of feel. I'm grateful for that. That worked to my advantage. Oh, so yes, the girl with the wagon, she coming through. So that worked to my advantage in certain ways, where someone else that may not have been something that worked for them in their area. So
that is amazing. And I'm super proud of you.
Thank you, girl.
I remember when we went on our field trip in Spark and you were asking me, I had just gotten my little Jeep, and you were asking where I got it. And it just,
because it was clean, y'all. Let me tell you, she keeps a clean car. Okay, know that house is clean, car is clean, but go ahead.
But I remembered you saying, because I didn't realize that at the time that you didn't have transportation.
Oh, and still don't, but it's coming.
But Zoe, look at how much you have grown. And at that time, you were saying, this is what I need in order to grow.
And still did. Let me tell you how good God is, baby, okay? For everybody listening, start with what you have, okay? Start with what you have. That was part of my biggest problem, was thinking that I needed more than what I had, thinking that I had to get to a certain standard to appease somebody else, you know. People is gonna grow with you, you know, the people that are supposed to, and the people that aren't just aren't. And I had to start somewhere. Looking back on it, I'd be like, ooh, don't share that video, don't tag me in that one, girl, you know. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to know that even with all of that and thinking that I needed transportation, but you know what, I had to realize, and one thing that just like kind of helped me get through it, I said, I'm a traveling caterer. It sounded a little bit different when you change your perspective on it. I'm not a girl with no car out here catering, baby. I am a traveling caterer.
I love it.
Okay?
Yes.
Which even sets me apart in different ways. There are certain things that I know how to do with transport, baby, your other girl ain't gonna know how to do. You know what I'm saying? So God is just good. God is just good. And just like I said, the moral of that point was start with what you have. You have all that you need, and everything else will come. Just get started. Just get to going.
Amen. Yes. What was that we learned about? I think it was the unique value proposition. That's that right there.
Okay, it sets me apart. And people like your story. People like to support that and to see that growth, and to be honest. It would be times I would be embarrassed, y'all. I would go to the other side of the building because I didn't want them to see me getting in and out of an Uber. Baby, now can you pull me up to the front? I'm tipping if you're helping. Okay. Okay. And just the shame that I would have. And so just looking back on it, it's been a long 20 months, but let me tell you, God is good. And he's showing out. And and like I said, if anything else, it helped me be disciplined. It helped me definitely manage my money. And so what I thought was a setback really blessed me. The relationships I met with people, and just all kind of things. So yeah, just start with what you have and just don't forsake your process. You know, you don't know where it's going to get you and how it's going to get you there.
That's a word on today, Zoe. All right. Based on everything that we've discussed, we talked a little bit beforehand about kind of how I came to the concept for this podcast. So thinking about all of that, what does Black in One Piece mean to you?
Black in One Piece to me is just being authentically you every day, showing up and striving to be better than you were the day before. Understanding that Black in One Piece, you are evolving.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us today?
No, I think that was it. I enjoyed it. It was super fun.
Yes, I'm so thankful that you joined me. Let the people know where they can learn more about you, Charcutistry, and everything else you have going on.
Well, you can always call our business number. Yeah, can I shout that out?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's 316-285-0384. If you look me up on Instagram, it's _Charcutistry, and that's CHARCUTISTRY.
Y'all heard it here. Make sure you check out what Zoe is doing. Thank you again. Until next time, stay Black in One Piece.